Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we are going to be diving into some IC2, breaking that wall, and getting ourselves some coolant. So, I hope you guys are ready. So, have you ever thought IC2 is the mod for you? Well, today is going to be the day that you're going to enjoy this video, because we're going to be working towards IC2 Coolant. And the reason why we're going to be moving to this one as well is because this not only has this quest, but it's also a repeatable quest. So maybe setting up a pretty awesome setup for this fluid would be kind of cool. To get started, we need to look up what it takes to get started with this. So coolant, or IC2 coolant, as it's called, can be made in a fluid, not a fluid transposer, a fluid solid canning machine. And this machine is not that difficult to make. And as you can see, it gives you, at a pretty fast rate once you get it upgraded. It'll consume water, take lapis, crushed lapis, by the way, which is EMC-able, which is awesome. And it'll allow you to produce IC2 coolant. So, what do we need to do to get this started? Well, we're going to have to first make the fluid solid canning machine and get into just a tad bit of IC2. So the fluid solid canning machine is going to require us to have some rubber, but we did make plastic in the past, so that's going to make this a lot better. So let's go ahead and make something called cutters. And I'm noticing, do I not have... Oh, we don't have iron plates. Okay, that's fine. We can make a forge hammer. And a forge hammer is going to allow us to make iron plates. So let's take a look here. You can see we can actually make iron plates using a hammer. And the best thing to do with that is to add it into our system. And there we go. That will give us iron plates to craft from. Now we can just make these cutters whenever we need to. Also, we're going to need some copper plates. We can also use a forge hammer for that. So I believe, let's take the forge hammer out. There we go. And we'll repeat the same process when it comes to crafting. So I'm going to go ahead and get this bad boy crafted. It doesn't take too much. Like I said, we have plastic to make these copper cables, and the basic machine is just more iron plates, and then the tin is just more crushed tin plates. Not too complicated, but it is something we are going to need to make. All right, so let's start trying to automate this, and I've come up with maybe one idea that might work. It is to take this guy and just our first setup here, and kind of get this situated. We're going to place this fluid solid canning machine here. We're going to also need a EMC link, and we're going to need some way to feed the items into here, which we'll figure that out as we go. But we need to figure out what side accepts what, and this needs to be configured properly. All right, so this should be fluid goes in here, gets situated, and then pumps into this tank. And we should be able to fill this with this thing, right? Yes. Okay, so the mechanical user should be able to face this like that. We should be able to put the amulet in here, upper left slot, not generic click, but you activate item with block. And is that filling it up? Maybe it's use item on block. Okay, so it's use item on block, and we can put these upgrades in here to make it a lot faster. All right, so that should always keep water in here. Now we need to get lapis in here. So that's where EMC link comes in handy. And like we just made, I'm going to use some sort of piping to get into here. We can use Ender IO if we want to. Doesn't really matter. I can use item conduits. Seems like that's what we've been using for everything else, so might as well. So item conduits here, EMC link on the bottom, if I can jump. We'll set this to always active on extract, insert here. And then in here, we're going to set lapis, crushed lapis, once we make some, which I'm surprised we don't have some. I thought we had some. There we go. So we'll add that to the list. And that should be pretty easy for us just to throw in here. And that should start filling. So this should convert over Let's take a look. IC2 Coolant. Let's just take a look at the configuration. Right, so we have the water in here, the lapis. That should produce IC2 Coolant. We need to not switch tanks. Configuration should be fine. That is not what we wanted to do. Let's break this and try again. Oh no. That's a nightmare. Oh, I forgot. If you break IC2 machine like that, it's going to give you the block. Oh man. So, fluid solid canning machine. Let's remake you. And we'll set this back up. I totally forgot one thing that this thing needs, right? We had it set up perfect. Like that's exactly what it needs to be set up to. That's perfect. We forgot power. Of all things, we forgot power. So let's go ahead and throw this flux point on here. Now, I don't know if they changed this or not, but this should have a way under our network settings to set this to energy units. Is that it? No. Tesla, Redstone Flux, Minecraft Joules, Applied Energistics, Forge Energy, Tesla. So I thought that there was a way to have this work with everything, which it did in Sky Adventures. So I'm assuming that it doesn't now. Which is kind of a bummer, because we're going to need to find a better way of powering this. So I think that this does work. It's just not working directly on the machine. So I need some sort of middleman, and a bat box is going to have to do. I think we can make a wrench. So the power does work. That I'm finding out. Let's go ahead and pop this guy off. And we need some cable, right? I think we'll make glass cable. We should be able to make this. This is, what? Dust, which is diamond. We should be able to do this. Diamond and redstone and stuff like that. So, I'm going to go ahead and get that crushed. Which I think we have to use a macerator for that. Oh, bummer. We'll stick with that. We'll get this later on. For right now, we can use a copper insulated cable. That should work. I need to place this down. Not like this, but like this. The other way. Like that. Should be able to put my power here. That should fill up. There we go. And then share power like this to this machine. Right? Come on now, that should work. Unless I have this backwards. Which I could very well have it backwards. The IC2 stuff, when you don't do it all the time, it can get kind of confusing. Okay, there it goes. So I did have it backwards. That still should be charging it. And there we go. That should be working. Right? Ah, there we go. So there is the IC2 coolant. Now, the good part about this is we should be able to tank that. Now, I don't want to store it just yet because we've got to get some upgrades on this thing. Right? So let's get a tank. We can use just a regular fluid tank from Ender.io, I believe. We can set that here. Set that to extract. Pull, and that should fill with IC2 coolant. Awesome. And grab ourselves a bucket. We are going to need a bucket of this in order to get ourselves some upgrades. So let's go ahead and do that. We need overclocker upgrades to make this thing a little bit faster. This requires 10 plates, and like I said, that bucket. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a few buckets of IC2 coolant. And we'll make ourselves a few coolant cells. Perfect. All right. So overclockers. This will get us 2. And that'll give us 2 more, giving us a total of 4. And we should be able to fill this bad boy with some overclocker upgrades. And that's going to make it a little bit faster. Now we need to make sure that we have enough power. And it looks like it's doing just fine. Which means we can try for some more overclocker upgrades. That's what I would do anyways. I want to see how many overclocker upgrades we can get in this bad boy. So let's do this. I think we can even hook up that tank to the center part here and not even worry about these buckets. I'm not too concerned about that just yet. I just want to make sure that this is working. And that I'm not telling you guys any lies here. I want to make sure that this works. And that way I can keep putting these upgrades in here. So at this point we are running low on power, right? At what point does the power start to drop off? It looks like 5. Okay, so 4 is the max upgrades that we can put in here as of right now. I think there are other upgrades that you can put inside here. You have overclocker, transformer, energy storage upgrades, ejector upgrades, advanced ejector upgrades, advanced pulling upgrades, fluid ejector. I think we most likely need transformer upgrades. Wait, we need energy storage upgrades, probably. Energy storage upgrades, that might help. I think. It doesn't hurt to try. And I think this is no, it doesn't need to be a full one. So there's an energy storage upgrade. Will that help any with the overclocker, though? It does seem to help. So that is not going... Okay, so IC2 Coolant's full, that's why. Okay, let's start taking this into the screens. I think as of right now, it's doing pretty good. We'll start piping this into the screen. We'll start with this quest first. What we'll do here is we'll just set this to push. That should start draining that, allowing this to kick back up. Hopefully it's fast enough. If not, we'll just use an Ender.io pipe. Seems to be not even pulling from here. Which is interesting. Huh. We'll push back there. Let's get ourselves a fluid conduit. Extract always active. Insert. There we go. Okay, let's see if that affected anything. So this is going down a lot faster. But I mean, we could technically make more of these. These are pretty fast. Even with 4, that's pretty fast. So I think what we can do to speed this up is potentially upgrade it to the next tier of power. That would allow us, hopefully, to be able to add more overclockers, because we'll be able to supply it with more power. So to do that, we need a transformer upgrade. We need to upgrade to the MV transformer, which is going to allow us to input a little bit more. And then I would say a 2 times insulated gold cable would probably suffice for this operation. So let's go ahead and break this down. And we know when we placed this down last time, this actually worked. So we should be able to place it down this way and hope that potentially this will connect. Will this only connect to the bat box? There's no way. this should connect to these. I don't know why it's not. Because an MV transformer, right? We should be able to supply it with more power. Very strange. Okay. Batbox accepts power. Is it because it's... Oh, LV maybe? No, that's what... We don't need a transformer, right? Oh, that's right. We don't need a transformer. We need a storage. What am I doing? I am so derping right now. And you guys are laughing at me. I see ya. I see you laughing at me. And I know I just broke that, but it's not a big deal. A lot of these things are easy to make. So let's go IC2. And I think it's MFSU? No, it's MFE. MFE is what we need to make, right? That is going to be our next step. Yeah, MFE. That's a tier 3. Tier 1, tier 2. No, CESU is what we need. Ooh, bronze plate. So forge. I guess I broke the hammer already. But bronze. We'll save that, just like we've been crafting everything else. And yeah, this should work. I think you guys are kind of getting the drift, getting what I'm spitting out. Hopefully you guys understand. So we already have insulated copper. We need these advanced batteries, which are actually not that bad. Now that we have the forge hammer, we can make some of these. So CESU. Is that what I think it is? Lead? Wow, I can't believe we don't have pulverized versions of stuff, but that makes sense. There we go. That should take about a second. We only need 3, I think. Yeah, we only need 3. All right. That should be 1. Insulated copper cable. 2, 3. And that should be our CESU. Okay. So back to how we had this. Place that down. This should connect to that. There we go. And then this should be able to handle gold. But before we hook this up, we need to make sure we put the transformer upgrade in here. Then we can hook that in there. Awesome. And then we should be able to get more overclocker upgrades. All right, so this quest is complete. That didn't take very long at all. So let's complete that. Let's start pushing towards this one. So I think we can reset this screen. Get a new screen. And start working on this IC2 Coolant here. Right. So we need to re-break this. Reset it. That should definitely start filling up, which means that should be emptying. And now we should be able to fit more overclocker upgrades in here. You see? Another overclocker upgrade. Another one. And that's 8. That is going pretty fast already. But it looks like it cannot handle 8, potentially. No, it can. I think we're running out of items. We are literally limited by this transfer speed. So, speed upgrades for the win, maybe? Alright, so now it's definitely going down, which means we need probably 7. 7 is the max. That's still really fast for IC2 Coolant. Wow, we could totally scale up this operation. Because I don't think we're running low on power, are we? And of course, we could always give this more power. You could totally give us more power. But man, this is looking pretty good. So we have that set up. A lot of you guys have been asking me, please buy something. You guys, you've been making so much money. Please spend some of your money. Well, I really, really want to spend some. So what I'm probably going to do is buy a creative item. And that will probably be the Watch of Flowing Time. Now, I am on a single player world. So the Watch of Flowing Time, when activated, we can go to fast forward, rewind, off. We want to keep it on fast forward. And we need a pedestal. Now, the pedestal is just dark matter and red matter. And I want to see what this bad boy can do when it is used on this. Is that going to be holy moly? Okay, so we're out of power. But is that because it can't keep up? Why is it out of power? That's the question. Maybe it's because this cable can't keep up. It's weird how this is filling it, but it's not like this is draining. It's just this cable's not being affected, I guess. Interesting. So, like, if I let this charge back up, it does go really fast. Cool. All right. So we have this. This does not have EMC, by the way. Yeah, it says become the master of time, or right click to change mode, time control mode, and then if you have it in your inventory and you have your options, control V, or I guess project E, category, you can see under Project E, we have charge, which is under V. V is usually taken up by something else, so I'm just going to toggle everything except for charge off. And V will let you charge this thing. And Shift V will let you uncharge it. Right? So that should be how you activate this thing. But we can place this down on a pedestal near machines, and I think it has like a 5-block radius or something like that. It's a pretty decent radius. And this thing will just rock and roll, right? I guess you like guarantee these guys getting killed every time, because it just speeds up the ticks. I think it speeds it up by 18 or something like that. It's a pretty high rate at which it does pick up things. But we are also poor now. We are very poor in the game. So unfortunately, that is one of the things that is a downside. Now, I do believe we can keep speeding this thing up and more, as long as we give this thing another transfer upgrade. So I do believe if you take the transfer upgrade and put another one in here, it's going to upgrade the tier by another one. And then we could put even more overclockers in here. And yeah, we definitely want to do that. So I ended up making another setup pretty much exactly the same. And I'm noticing something. That it doesn't really matter at this point if I have that setup going with this. The watch flowing time just makes it way too fast. There are some other use cases for the watch of flowing time that we are going to use later on. But as of right now, there's not too much that I would want to use it on per se. EMC gain is something that I don't really need to use it on, so there's not really anything like that I'll use it for. I mean, it definitely will be helpful for later on. But what I did was this thing is now upgraded to tier 3 energy, and we do have an MFE down here that is being supplied with some power. I am noticing that this is just not enough, it seems like, to fill this thing. The way the power is working here just seems very weird, and I almost wonder if we are like utilizing more power than we're producing, which shouldn't be the case since we are connected here, but believe it or not, actually, that might be the case. If we were to remove these Beast Coin miners that are next to this, that might actually fix the issue. I didn't even think about that. But this thing should be producing tons and tons of power. Now do we have enough? Okay, so that was our issue. It was the Beast Coin miners that were nearby. Now the Beast Coin miners do take, at this point, they're taking a lot And I mean a lot of power. It's insane. Like, this is requiring 576 million RF to produce one coin. Just one coin. Just one. No big deal. That's insane. That's a lot of power. I did try putting the Watch of Flowing Time over there. It does help. It does help. It's probably the only use case for it at the moment. But this now should be able to handle this. So, can we now maybe use the watch here? And will this help? So the power definitely drops off. If we can get this to work like this, with a minimal amount of upgrades, oh wow. That's incredibly fast. That's 6 upgrades on this bad boy. 4 upgrades here. That starts to touch a little bit. But that's still incredibly fast. Okay, so they're both struggling. So they can pretty much, this one can have 5, that one can have 6. And it's sharing power. This is keeping up. Oh my, is that producing very quickly. Wow. I don't think we're going to be poor very long, guys. Because this system is actually pretty fast. As long as you have the Watch of Flowing Time. Even without the Watch of Flowing Time, you could probably speed this up pretty quickly just with upgrading the power source. Wow. So this would probably be the one time that I would say a use case for translocators. I do know that Latvian is actually working on a remake of translocators that works way better for servers. That is in the works right now. I did kind of catch a little bit of that today. But the item translocators, they're very simple to make, and we're going to need them. I can tell you that, at least in single player, because this is just not keeping up with the Lapis demand. It's just not keeping up here. So what we can do is we can set these here, like so. Open this, and that is going to keep that filled with Lapis. Guaranteed. You're just not going to have issues. And so the best thing for me to do over here is probably to get an EMC link. At least place it 1 block above. And this is not, I mean, it's not even that great for single player, to be honest. You can still run into a lot of issues in single player with this. But let's make another translocator. These are also EMCable. And we'll do the same thing over here. Be sure to store the Lapis. Did not mean to place that there. And open the gates there, and bam. I mean, wow. The speeds on this is absolutely insane. So, man, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did and you learned something new, please don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And as always, thanks for watching.